Yeah, my sister. Is it you?
Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to walk through the fight with the Perfect Bride Fang Ling in Wuchang Fallen Feathers, as well as the Phase 2 portion where she transforms into a Chimera. So I've got a build and strategy that I used that ended up working out pretty well. So first I'll kind of walk through all of the items and skills that I used, and then we'll get into the actual fight and I'll demonstrate how I went about completing it. So if you are struggling with this portion of the game, you can maybe give this a try and hopefully it'll help you out. Okay, so first off, going through all of my items and equipment and whatnot, starting with the weapon screen. So I'm going to be using the Lashing Whip Longsword as my primary weapon for damage dealing and whatnot. However, I'm also going to take advantage of two other weapon types, the one-handed sword as well as the axe. Primarily because they have some abilities that will generate Skyborn Might that I'm going to use. So I'll kind of talk about that when we get there. But again, using the longsword weapon type as my primary weapon. And then moving over to the equipment screen. So for my armor, I've got most of the bridal armor set equipped, excluding the arms. I've got these delicate bracelets. Primarily just looking for whatever had the highest poise break resistance, as that is the primary damage type that she does. So I just kind of picked out everything that had high poise break, which ended up being those. And then moving down to pendants, so this is going to be really important. I do have this Twin Infant pendant as well as this Dragonfish pendant equipped. However, the really important call out here is this, having this Dracolich pendant equipped. And if you didn't pick that up, that's kind of back towards the beginning of the game underneath the Shoe Sanctum area. It's kind of near the Mercury Workshop Shrine. There's a little area you can go back and then you'll find this. And having that equipped is going to nullify her attack that stuns you basically. So during the fight, if you don't have this equipped, there's periods of time where you have to like spam the dodge button to get out of a stun. And having this equipped will completely nullify that attack. So a really important aspect of the build there. And then for my spells, I'm going to be using this Dark Frost Flames spell quite a bit. So my primary attack is kind of built around frost damage, and this is part of it. So in the Phase 2, I'm going to be using this spell a lot to get through that. And if you didn't get this, that's in the Cloud Spire outskirts area. There's a Theater Troop enemy that you can defeat, and you'll get this spell. So that's kind of all of my equipment. And then wrapping things up with this menu, if you just want to take a look at my stats here. So I was level 47 when I did the fight. I did level up after I beat the boss, so I'm 48 now, but just for context, I was level 47 when I did this, and you can see all of my stats here. And then finally, taking a quick look at the various menus within the shrine, starting with my skill allocation. So going down the left side of the tree here, first off, you can see all of my Mana Vase upgrades. So don't forget to, if you've picked up any Forgotten Remembrances or whatnot, you have all of those activated. And then as mentioned, this is primarily going to kind of be like a frost-based build and utilizing the Frostbite Needle, as that element seemed to work pretty well on this boss. So I've got that. And then I also, if you back up here a little bit, have this Frozen Veil skill to increase Frostbite buildup by spells. So I'm going to be taking advantage of that as well. And then going down the left side to the end here, just getting like some extra Skyborn Might points and like Temperance charges, and I've got an Acupoint slot unlocked here as well. But that's kind of the left side of the tree. And then as mentioned, primarily longsword, so we'll take a look at that here in a second. But I do have some important points on some of the other weapon types, as mentioned, to generate Skyborn Might. So I do go down all of these various weapon types to get the +5 stats at the beginning. But specifically for like the axe, there's this Thunderous Cleave ability that you can get at the beginning, which is going to generate 3 stacks of Skyborn Might on the 4th attack of your light attack combo. So I've got that. And then for the one-handed sword, I've got this Biting Time skill unlocked, which is just kind of a passive Skyborn Might generation if you have it equipped. So I'll demonstrate this when we get to that, but I'm going to be utilizing both of those. And then for this one, again, I just kind of go down to get these +5 stats at the beginning there. But for the longsword, I've got a lot of this unlocked, taking advantage. Again, this also has a Skyborn Might generation with the Sword Saint on the second attack of that light attack combo. And then also Wind Force to do quick heavy charge attacks. So I'll be taking advantage of that a lot. I've got my Strong Blade upgraded to +6, so I've got 3 there, another 3 there, and then as you can see, just kind of going around the tree here, getting all of that upgraded. So that's kind of my primary build there. And then taking a look at temper, as mentioned, I can move my face here so you can see, but I've got the frostbite needle equipped, as well as an agility and a strength needle equipped there. And then finally, taking a look at benedictions, kind of another kind of going along with the frostbite damage build. I've got this glacial frostbite benediction equipped, as you can see there, which that's kind of, it's kind of hard to explain, but there's a building within Cloud Spire City where there's a chest where I found that, if you don't have that and want to use it. And then also another important call out is this Obliteration Might stone, where that will give you Skyborn Might when you do an Obliterate attack. So I think that's pretty much everything. So now we can actually walk through the fight here. Alright, so starting from the shaft entrance shrine and taking the elevator down, as mentioned, we're going to be taking advantage of a couple different weapon types to build up a good supply of Skyborn Might, starting with the axe. So there's an enemy just down these stairs before the boss arena where we can utilize the Thunderous Cleave ability to get 3 stacks of Skyborn Might, hitting them on that 4th hit. So quickly do that, and then switch back to the longsword, and then also swap out the axe for the one-handed sword on your secondary slot, as we'll be using that in the second phase of the fight. So now heading into the arena with some Skyborn Might ready to go, activate your temper first to get frostbite damage and then drop down from the bridge. If you keep your distance at the start of the fight, she should rappel up to the ceiling and open with this 4-hit range attack, which is going to be our first opportunity to stagger her and get in an Obliterate attack. So unfortunately, as you see here, I actually missed that opportunity on this attempt, but looking at another try, basically if you scoot up a little bit at the beginning, then dodge left and right on the first 3 attacks, then you dodge forward on the last, and then charge forward, you should be able to make your way to her back and use Skyborn Might to get in a quick heavy charge attack as she reaches the ground. You do have to be careful though, as if you get too aggressive and charge too close, she'll just swing away rather than drop straight down, so you may have to try a few times to get the timing right. But going back to the original fight, even if you do miss like I do, there's still quite a few opportunities to get behind her, and you should still have some Skyborn Might for another quick heavy charge attack. Keep an eye out for this thrust attack she does, which is pretty telegraphed with this flash of light as well as a sharp sound effect you'll hear. This is another good opportunity to dodge around to her back, which I take advantage of. So once you're able to get that first Obliterate in, immediately follow it with a light attack combo, getting 2 more stacks of Skyborn Might on that 5th hit from the Swordmaster skill, and hopefully filling up her Frostbite meter for another big chunk of damage. If you don't get that full Frostbite though, you can also back away afterwards and then cast Dark Frost Flame, which should push it over the edge. After that, back away as much as possible and heal up if you've taken any damage. At this point, she should be close to half of her health, and here we're just going to wait until that Frostbite meter resets and then look for another opportunity to stagger her and Obliterate again. So just being patient and keeping my distance, I kind of dance around with her for a little bit, dodging and throwing in some heavy charge attacks where there's opportunity. But before you do try and go in for that next Obliterate attack though, make sure that you reactivate your temper and that her Frostbite is fully gone so you can take advantage of that extra elemental damage. So after running around for a little bit, she does her Scream attack that would normally stun you, but with that Dracolich pendant, it's ineffective. And this is a perfect opportunity to circle around her back and get in that second stagger. So doing that and then following the same sequence after the Obliterate, I don't do quite enough to fill her Frostbite, so I back away and cast Dark Frost Flame, leaving with her with barely enough health, so I just do a quick follow-up attack to finish her off. So that takes us to phase 2 with the Chimera, and the way I handled this, it ain't fancy, but it got the job done, and that was basically just to cast Dark Frost Flame over and over again. So the first thing that you want to do that's pretty important is to swap out your longsword immediately for the one-handed sword, and with that biting time ability that I mentioned during the build section of this video, this will kind of just randomly generate a point of Skyborn Might over time for as long as you're using the one-handed sword. So for this fight, all I'm really worried about is dodging his attacks and casting Dark Frost Flame. With some of the perfect dodges that you'll get, as well as the Skyborn Might from that ability, you should have a pretty steady source of Skyborn Might to cast the spell on a pretty regular basis. So you can see I've taken some hits, but hopefully if you get through phase 1 without using your mana base too much, you should be able to be pretty greedy with your healing for the rest of this fight. Once you get familiar with his moves, he's not too bad to avoid as long as you keep backing away from him and keeping your distance. But again, really the strategy here is just to keep getting those big damage hits from the Frostbite buildup using that Dark Frost Flame. This next attack is probably an opportunity for some melee damage if you want to get more aggressive. As you can see, he just kind of stands still for a bit, but I wanted to play it safe. And another note about this attack, it's kind of subtle, but keep an eye out on the floor for those kind of whispers of smoke, as that will let you know where the rocks are going to fall. This laser attack, though, is a really good opportunity to build up some Skyborn Might, as you can just dodge through it, as you see here. And then I just continue to pelt him with some more Dark Frost Flame. So again, it's nothing fancy, but it worked pretty well. And being able to just pretty much 100% focus on dodging rather than trying to go in and attack with melee makes dealing with his attacks a lot easier. So finally, I whittle him down to barely any health, so I just go in and hit him a few times with the one-handed sword to finish the fight. So that's kind of how I ended up doing this one. If you're struggling with it, give it a try. Hopefully it helps you out. But I'll leave you with that. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.